What is up, y'all? Happy weekend. This episode is going to be a friendly reminder to everyone that words do matter. And that sounded spicier than it really was supposed to. It honestly is just going to be friendly. I promise. I promise you. It's one of those things that we all do, and we all say stuff unintentionally, but I do think it has some unintended consequences. Like I said in my very first episode, when people say, oh, well, they meant well, they had good intentions, things like that. I think this is a phrase that we probably all have heard a million times in a million different scenarios. And if you're on the receiving end of it, maybe you didn't mind it, maybe you did. And that phrase is, drum roll please, you're so lucky. Sounds innocent and harmless enough, right? But just hear me out. So, and I promise this is just a friendly reminder because I know I have absolutely said it before too. So don't think I'm just like a word police over here being like, you can't say this and you can't say that, yada yada. But I've had this phrase said to me before in a couple different contexts where I didn't love it. And that's because when you tell someone that they're lucky after an accomplishment or after something good happens to them, I think that it undermines all of the work and effort and time that they put into that achievement. So we've all done something great that we're proud of, right? We all have accomplishments. And what went into those accomplishments? Really think about go back. Do a lot of the and then what, and then what, and then what questions. You probably worked your ass off. You probably stayed up late. You sacrificed time with friends or family. You sacrificed sleep. You sacrificed who knows what. I'm sure there were times when you didn't want to put in the work for whatever reason, and you didn't have the motivation. But you got up and you did it anyway. And who knows how long it took you, how many years or months or however long of grinding it took you to get that accomplishment? So when someone then says, oh, you're so lucky, that just negates all of the work you put in. That now makes it something that just happened to you, not because of you. That makes it something very reactive. And I was just talking to my sister about this as well, because she's been getting some comments about it lately. She's on her grind right now in the gym. She's running and lifting and doing the sauna, all sorts of stuff. So she's shredded. She is absolutely jacked right now. And she doesn't post about it a lot or post a lot of content being in the gym because she's kind of doing that unseen grind right now. She's doing it for her and not just for the attention. So anyway, some people, I guess, were talking to her about being out of shape and wanting to get back into a fitness routine. And she gave them some pointers and lifting plans and nutrition ideas, all that helpful stuff. And they kept just saying, oh, you're in such good shape, though. You're so lucky. You're so lean. And she's like, no, this is hours and hours of work. This is a lot of discipline that's finally paying off. This is me taking the time to cook healthy meals and to go to the gym even when I'm exhausted or don't feel like it. And this is me prioritizing my sleep instead of going drinking. And this is me cutting out desserts and yada yada. And yeah, she was like, don't undermine the amount of work that I've put into this. This is the same thing, years of progress and growth and effort and work that I've put into me. Don't just say, oh, you're lucky. Oh, you're just tall. Whatever. No, that's still her work. That is still her accomplishment, her achievement. You can't just take that away and say that it's luck. You know what I mean? And same thing for when I got my promotion. And I don't think I ever really said it on here per se, but I know I've talked in person about this to most of y'all. But my priority wasn't on promoting. It just wasn't a focus of mine. However, that does not mean that I didn't work my butt off every single day for the last year until I left. I mean, you guys know me. I can't just check out and be a bum and be like, oh, well, I'm separating in a year, so why even bother? Why try? You guys know I can't do that. It's just, you know what I mean? It's not me. And so, yeah, I wasn't doing all of this extra work and effort to get the promotion, but I was still doing that work and effort. I was just doing it because if I do something, I want to do it to the best of my ability. And yeah, people were congratulating me on getting promoted. And I got so many comments of, oh, you're so lucky. I can't believe you made it. And one person who's like a mentor to me, and this is why I say this is friendly, because everyone says this, I said this, so please don't take it as like a hateful thing. But yeah, this girl was my mentor, and absolutely, she took me under her wing, all this stuff. And she was like, congrats, you deserve it, whatever else. And then she adds in, yeah, that's so crazy that you made rank without even trying. And I was like, ma'am, in what world is this not trying? Like, just because it wasn't my focus or my end goal doesn't mean I didn't put in the work and the long hours. Like, it doesn't mean I didn't put in the absolute killer sacrifices into 3 pharmacies back in Cali. I feel like every other day I was going to bail out a different pharmacy because they were just all drowning. You can say, wow, you made it, you didn't even want it, or, oh, you're still getting out, or whatever. But don't say I didn't try, because that insinuates that I didn't work. I don't know. To me, that just downplays the whole significance of hard work and my accomplishments. And I also saw these same types of comments on bouncing back physically after pregnancy. I've been following a lot of fitness people on Instagram that are pregnant or were recently pregnant, just so I can get some good stretching exercises and like just some ideas of like what's okay, what's not okay to do in the gym and all that. Because unfortunately, there's a definitive gap in knowledge and education from people that lift to people that don't lift. Because the people that don't lift, which unfortunately, like majority of hospital staff, majority of OB staff, L&D staff, like the doctors, they're like, oh, don't lift anything over 15 pounds ever. Don't bend over in pregnancy ever. Don't, like literally, basically don't work out. They're like, don't do anything on your stomach. Don't do anything on your back. Don't do anything like that requires bending. One person literally told me, just don't do anything that requires you to flex your core or use core strength. And I was like, that's literally everything. Standing up requires core strength. Like holding your back upright requires core strength. Sitting down with a good posture requires core strength. What kind of advice is that? That literally, and that also takes out every single exercise. Running requires core strength. Any upper body, lower body, everything requires core strength. So I'm like, what does that even mean? You're telling me not to work out ever? That doesn't sound good. So I mean, obviously I didn't listen to her, but like, that's why I've been following some of these people, because they're doing it. And then I see them after the fact, their babies are healthy, they're healthy, and they actually give helpful advice. They're like, hey, don't do anything you couldn't do before. Don't do anything you weren't doing before in the last like 6 months or so. You know what I mean? They're like, if you haven't ran in 3 years, don't start running now. But it was actually a lot more helpful advice than, unfortunately, some of the advice I got from medical staff. And so I'm just following them for that reason, you know? And anyway, that part's not really that important. But these people, I will also add in the caveat, they're real in the sense that they're open and they're honest. So they'll say, hey, my body just needed a break today because I'm growing a liver and eyeballs. So I'm only going to do half of my normal weights that I would do. Or I'm only going to do 2 sets. And then I'm going to take a nap because my body needs a break. But they're like, the big thing is you're moving. Like, that's what counts. Because you guys know, you can usually tell influencers from like real people. I mean, you can tell when someone's genuine or when they're just posed in good lighting for the aesthetic only. Like they're only ever aesthetic. They're only showing their best sides. They're only doing it for the likes and all that stuff. Like you can tell, you know? And so I only followed the genuine seeming ones. But yeah, so I saw this video collage of one of them working out throughout their entire pregnancy. Like week by week time lapse. And then, you know, you saw like the break postpartum, and then you see her back in the gym doing like very modified exercises post-delivery, and there are little chicken nuggets in the back playing, or like, you know, some of them like the baby's strapped in and she's doing these little like body squats, whatever. And the video was showing comments of people saying, you're so lucky, you bounced back so fast, I could never, yada, yada, yada. And the caption was like, no, I worked for this. Like, I stuck with it when I was tired and when I didn't want to work out. Like, I worked out through my whole pregnancy so I could be healthy and so I could recover faster. This is, and you know, one of the main things in the caption was like, this is what quote unquote bouncing back looks like. And it's just 40 weeks of lifting content. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I really liked that. And I was like, thank you. Like, that's showing it's not just something that, again, happens to you. It's not just luck that you bounce back. No, that's work. And that's your work and your effort and your time and your dedication paying off. That's the result of hard work. And I think it's more impactful, but also it's a much more meaningful compliment if you told someone, wow, you're so resilient. You're so determined. You worked so hard. Anything like that. You're so disciplined. More than just, you're so lucky. Because again, it's that passive, it's like passive aggressive kind of. You know, I don't count that as like an active compliment because you're not acknowledging anything that they did or any of their qualities. You're just saying, oh, that's cool that something good happened to you, not because of what you did. It just happened to you. You know what I mean? It just kind of downplays the whole thing. Because Daniel and I got comments like that too. About little things like, oh, you're so lucky you get to stay at home when you're transitioning, you know, out of the military and whatever, like you get a break, or you're so lucky you bought a house, whatever. And I'm like, we saved a lot of money for a long time to be able to be in this financial situation. Like, we planned this. We put time and effort into making this happen. I put a lot of time and thought into my 1 and 3 and 5 year plans. This was part of it. We aren't just winging it. And so personally, I don't necessarily really believe in luck. I think that all of your decisions, big or small, lead you to where you are at right now. So honestly, it's tough for me to find a scenario where you can say it's just 100% completely luck. Not even gambling, because that takes some form of strategy and knowledge of gameplay. You know what I mean? And Daniel told me this bomb-ass quote, and he said, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And I thought that was so cool. Because yes, it acknowledges that there are systemic inequalities, that some people get set ahead with opportunities, some people get set behind with a lack of opportunities. I'm not denying that. Y'all know me. But it also acknowledges that preparation goes so far towards our achievements. There is a lot that is within our control. I don't know. I think we don't give ourselves enough credit for our efforts day in and day out, especially females. It's like ingrained in us from a young age that we're egotistical and attention seeking or stuck up. If we just ever take credit for something we did, and so we always downplay everything, or we deflect the attention to someone else. And we say, oh no, but this person helped me, or, you know, that worked out and it was a Tuesday, whatever other excuse. And I've been caught in that trap too. My sister's mentor was talking to me and complimenting me about something. And I immediately was like, oh, I appreciate it. You know, she raised me into who I am and it's all because of her, whatever. And he was like, no, shut up. Don't say that. Like, you put in the work. You took all the steps necessary. Maybe she led you to the starting line and coached you along the way, but you're the one that ran that race. You crossed that finish line. Just say thank you. Period. And I was like, damn, you're right. And I didn't even realize that I did that, you know? Now, obviously, I'm not saying don't give credit where credit is due, and I'm not saying don't acknowledge other people that have helped you along the way. Like, don't forget about them. Don't forget to give them their acknowledgments as well. But don't downplay your own accomplishments and achievements. And I mean, like Snoop Dogg said best, lastly, I want to thank me. I want to thank me for putting in the hard work and the time. I want to thank me for having no days off. I want to thank me for always being me. And whatever other golden lines he said. But yeah, I think give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself that acknowledgement. Give yourself that congratulations. Because you've earned it. There's no denying that. And I think one of the most reassuring things and the best things about some of these accomplishments that we've had is once you've achieved that goal or that dream, literally no one can take it away from you. No one can ever say you didn't get it. No one can ever say you didn't do that, you didn't crush that goal, you didn't accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. Once you hit that milestone, you will always have hit that milestone. Maybe you regress, maybe you move forward, maybe you set new goals, but that doesn't change the fact that at one point in time you did accomplish that goal. And that's what counts. Because again, you're the one that put in the work. You're the one that did the effort. You're the one that sacrificed. You're the one that earned that. So don't let anyone take that away from you. Don't let anyone ever undermine that. They're just goons. And so that's why I say words do matter. Be careful sometimes what we say because we don't always realize it, right? We have the best intentions. No one says you're so lucky and they secretly think that you don't deserve it at all. If they do, they're trash humans and you don't need to be around them anyway. But you guys know what I mean. And that's just my thought. Like I said, as I come across these nuggets of self-revelation, if you will, and as I come across these things of like, hey, maybe that's not the best phrase to use during a time that should be congratulatory. I gotta pass it on to you, you know? I can't sit here and think about, man, I hate when people say, I don't hate it, but man, I think it's detrimental to our society when we tell people you're so lucky. I can't think that, but then not actually do anything about it because then it's just going to keep happening. And more importantly, every time I hear it, I'm just going to be harboring against that person. Sucked that they said that. I wish they had phrased it differently. You know what I mean? And that's my thing. You guys know me. Once I know something, once something is in my head, there is no getting it out of there. So, yeah. But again, that's what this podcast is for, right? One conversation at a time. Building a better society, building a better future generation. Because nobody wants to be a terrible human being, I don't think. Nobody wants to make someone else feel bad. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen, though. So that's why I think that it's important that if you do feel a certain way about something, bring it up. I mean, what's the worst that happens? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's it for me this week. Nice, easy, friendly reminder, like I promised y'all. Nothing too spicy. I do want to add in, I'm so sorry about this annoying dog that's barking in the background. I'm doing my best to edit it out, but I can only work so much magic. And honestly, I put off recording for a while because I was like, no one wants to hear a dog barking in the background. That's terrible. But then the dog just didn't stop barking. Also, it's not Marshy. Obviously, Marshy's a perfect little soul. It's like our neighbor's new dog. I don't know. It's very annoying. But anyway, I waited to record. And then the dog just wasn't stopping and it was getting later and later. And I was like, I don't want to put my podcast on hold and not record at the best time that it is for me to record and not record while I have all of these creative juices flowing because the dog's barking. So just bear with me. I'm very sorry. Thank you for still listening. Make good choices. Be a decent human being. Take care of each other. I think I might add that into my tagline, honestly. I think I might just start. We'll see. But yes, take care of each other, and I will catch y'all next time. Okay, bye!